jump into the quietest and possibly most painful part of the series, the grief, guilt, and shame that can exist on both sides of the estrangement. Welcome back. We're now in part 7 of my series, The Silence We Carry. One reason estrangement hurts so deeply is that it often creates what clinicians call ambiguous loss, a real loss without clear closure, because the person is still alive, but the relationship is absent. And because there's no funeral, no ritual, no culturally recognized permission to grieve it, estrangement can become a kind of unspoken and unrecognized grief, a pain people carry privately, sometimes with stigma, and often without support. On the parent side, that silence can look like a constant mental replay of the past, the urge to defend yourself, but knowing anything you say may be seen as making excuses, a heavy sense of being misunderstood, judged, reduced to a single narrative. Sometimes it's the ache of being frozen out of milestones. Sometimes it's watching your child rewrite the entire story of who you were and feeling powerless to stop it. And in some cases, it can even feel like being erased or replaced. It is incredibly painful to be painted as a monster when you know you were a human being trying to make sure everyone survived and you were doing it without a manual. Guilt often shows up as, what did I miss? What did I do wrong? Shame shows up as something even deeper. Not, I made mistakes, but maybe I am the mistake. Parents also carry a different kind of grief. Grief for the family they thought they would have. Most parents, especially well-meaning ones, never imagined a day where their own child would want no contact. Many assumed the relationship would grow and mature, that the adult years would bring more understanding, and even a kind of friendship with just a little of that parent-child dynamic still there. And when that future disappears, it isn't just the loss of contact, it's the loss of a dream. On the adult-child side, there can also be a deep, complex grief, often more complex than people assume. Many adult children describe emotions that don't fit into a simple story. Relief and grief, anger and sadness, empowerment and doubt. And guilt can still exist. Not necessarily because the decision was wrong, but because every situation is different and sometimes distance is necessary, but because family bonds are powerful. Walking away can hurt, even when it's protective. There can also be the loss of the ideal. They aren't just grieving the parent they have, they're grieving the parent they wish they had. They grieve the version of family they see in other people's lives. And some quietly carry the question, am I the bad person for doing this? And the truth is, I don't think there's a family out there that got everything they hoped for in their family. All of us, in some way, have to grieve the dream of what we wish we would have had and learn to live inside what it is, what we have. Then there's the social shame that hits both sides. An adult child may hear things like, but that's your mom, that's your dad. And an estranged parent may hear things like, you must be toxic, narcissistic, abusive. And when grief, guilt, and shame go unnamed, they don't just disappear. They harden into a story. They harden into certainty. They harden into silence. And a lot of the time, both sides are carrying that same heavy silence, just in separate rooms. We are all messy, growing humans just trying to find our way in this world. And sometimes the weight of being wrong is so heavy that we forget how to be together. In part 8, we're going to talk about what real healing can look like for parents and adult children, not perfect words and not power struggles, but what repair actually requires when it's possible, and what healing can look like when it's not possible. That's all for now. Until next time, blessed be.